So I am now going to share my screen. And Jeremy, you can tell me if you see the screen.
Yes, I can see it. Thanks.
Excellent. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome everybody to our next webinar. And these webinars is a series of webinars that are running because of the Infor M3 marketplace. The Infor M3 marketplace, if you have not yet seen it, it will potentially be your one-stop shop for Infor M3. And here you can find different partners and products available. It's integrations, mashups, e-commerce, mobile apps, etc. So if you have not yet been there, I strongly suggest that you take a look at this site. We've had different partners presenting their solutions, but today we have LeanSwift coming in. And LeanSwift will be talking about how you best digitize your business with e-commerce and mobile solutions. And today's presenter is Jeremy Miller. He's the e-commerce expert and been working with this for many, many years. So I am going to hand over the remote to Jeremy.
All right, thanks, Caroline. Just 1 second, I'll share my screen. And let's go ahead and get this started.
Yes, and so while you get started, I also want to tell everybody that we are recording this webinar, so you can share this with your colleagues that did not make it. You also have a little functionality. If you hover down over the bottom of the screen, there is a place where you can ask questions, and these questions will be addressed at the end of the webinar. So Jeremy, please take it from here.
All right, very good. Thanks, Caroline. I appreciate it. And thanks for everybody for joining us today, and everybody watching this online later. So I appreciate it. And so, yes, I'm with LeanSwift. I'm the director of e-commerce for LeanSwift, and I'm excited to be with LeanSwift, and we're doing a lot of very exciting projects and have a lot going on. And specifically in terms of digitizing a business across an enterprise, and really, today is specifically about the digital enablement across your enterprise, and really trying to dive into that and what does that mean, and specifically within the B2B realm. And that's really what I'm going to be talking about today. LeanSwift is a global leader in terms of M3 e-commerce and mobile solutions. We've done that across a variety of industries, and that includes not only just e-commerce, but also internet applications as well, extending your M3 ability, M3 connection, M3 data out past just your ERP environment and out onto the internet as well. Just a little bit of a background on me. I've got about 20 years of experience in e-commerce. Most of that has actually been in the B2B space. I think I kind of did that on accident. I didn't really mean to, but I love the B2B idiosyncrasies. There's a very specific way that B2B goes to market, and I just really enjoyed that, and spent the majority of my career doing that. Started out as a UI developer, a web developer, moved on to information architecture, and then I've been a manager and a director for about the past 15 years. So again, just really enjoy e-commerce, enjoy the B2B arena. And over the course of that time, I've definitely become aware of the opportunities and the challenges presented to the B2B space when it comes to just getting your business mobilized and moved into the digital space, whether that be e-commerce, Amazon, mobile for M3, or EDI. I mean, there's a lot of challenges, but then also tremendous opportunities. And we'll talk about a few of those here as we go through this presentation. So expanding your digital reach. The first thing, obviously, and is what we're going to be talking about today, is e-commerce and getting your business pointed in that direction. So maybe you've already done a little bit in e-commerce. Maybe you have an e-commerce platform today, but you want to make some changes, make some improvements, improve conversion. There is a whole wealth of discussions inside of this concept for e-commerce alone. The next part of the digital reach really is EDI enablement. Again, maybe you're doing e-commerce today, but you're not doing EDI. And over my career, really, the thing that I've seen over and over again is EDI enablement really is the other hand to e-commerce, really enabling your customers, especially the larger customers, to connect with you daily, hourly, minute by minute of whether or not you have inventories, stock availability, or perhaps they want to place orders, getting ASN notifications. There's a whole range of reasons as to why customers would want to interact with you via EDI. But I will say, once you go on to an EDI solution, the overall percentage of orders goes up, and the number of orders goes up, and just your overall reach definitely improves. The third piece to this digital reach really is, selling your products through Amazon, eBay, or any of the other sites like that. At LeanSwift, we have integrations for all of these that are out of the box, and that you can connect your M3 either to Magento or directly to Amazon. So it's very, very important to recognize in terms of your market, whether or not your market is expecting you to show up on Amazon. Perhaps you're trying to do a little bit of B2C, selling as well, just to try to reach an untapped market. Or perhaps you have some of your B2B products for your smaller customers that it actually makes sense to sell your B2B oriented products through Amazon. So that is definitely a route that you need to consider, and perhaps you're missing that opportunity today. And then the fourth piece is the Infor Mobile for Business. There are incredible advances in technology today that allow not only internally, your employees, but then also if you want to extend that out to salespeople, third party sales reps, or even customers as well. Mobile data, right over your iPad, iPhone, information from your M3 directly without even the need of a website. So, branching out your digital reach across all of these platforms is becoming more and more important. And as I said, today we're going to be focusing on e-commerce. So, one of the first questions all the time is, what direction is B2B business headed in terms of e-commerce? That's a really big question, but I think it begs the question for sure. So really, since 1998, e-commerce really was a B2C game. You saw that time and time again as websites popped up and grew. The Fortune 500 companies were jumping on board in the early 2000s, and everybody wanted to have an e-commerce presence, but it was mostly B2C. But very recently, though, I think B2B has really discovered there's a huge untapped opportunity if we move to e-commerce. This is an interesting study that I saw just a couple of weeks ago, and it really is showing the growth opportunity for B2B, and really over the next 5 years, the B2B e-commerce market is going to reach about $1.2 trillion and surpass B2C by almost twice. So that's a astounding number, and really represents the huge opportunity for everyone really in the B2B space to take advantage of that. What are the growth drivers here? So the first thing is really, thanks to e-commerce, the concept of having business hours really kind of goes out the window. There's really no longer business hours. You're always open for business. Even on Sunday, where maybe customer service isn't sitting in their chair ready to take an order. With e-commerce, you're always on. So especially if you're engaging with a lot of smaller businesses and maybe even mom and pop type shops, they work kind of odd hours sometimes. And so having the ability to always be on, always be available in terms of data is critically important. Also, B2B e-commerce experiences are quickly improving, and I think traditionally B2B, maybe even e-commerce or just digital sales, were always a little more cumbersome Even years ago, B2B sales was more oriented around, by the pallet. And so now most of the time, e-commerce in terms of a user experience and B2B e-commerce experience is more shaped like B2C. And that's really what customers are coming to expect. The third thing here in terms of growth driver is really just the benefits of e-commerce and the seamless online purchasing opportunities. Again, just trying to match some of the B2C experiences that a lot of your B2B customers have outside of their job, and matching those benefits, matching those experiences can really play into this growth, this $1.2 trillion over the next 5 years that we see here. All right, so adapting e-commerce for B2B. When we're thinking about what your B2B site might look like, right? And you're trying to architect that. One thing definitely to keep in mind is thinking of the best features of B2C that stands today and how it might apply to your world. Not all features will apply, and that's okay. Even you can look at Amazon, right? There's a lot of opportunities there and features there that Amazon presents to their customers that may or may not actually apply to your business. But you can borrow certainly any of the features that you think are applicable and apply it to your site as well. Common question number 2, what do I need to keep in mind while designing my e-commerce site from a B2B standpoint? Are there any trends? And I get this question all the time, and I think it's a great question, actually. So I put together a few thoughts along those lines. The first trend definitely is B2B is going mobile, and I see that time and time again. There is so much data to share, especially when it comes to B2B. Because really it's two companies engaging each other. It's a relationship, and most of it sits on top of the data that you can convey across, in allowing not only sales reps out in the field, but then also maybe it's a small business owner that is running a business as quickly as they possibly can, and they need to have the data readily available all the time. But again, though, the world is definitely moving and shaping itself towards a mobile concept, and so having mobile available for B2B is incredibly important. We talked a little bit about Amazon before, and Amazon is definitely shaping the user experience of e-commerce just across the U.S., but then also around the world. And so business buyers are also consumers when they go home at night, and so they interact with Amazon. And I think I forget the exact number. I think there's around 80 million Prime members now for Amazon alone. But that's not everybody that shops with Amazon. There's millions more that are not Prime members. But they see this functionality, and they want that same kind of functionality when it comes to their B2B shopping as well. And so the more that we can, build in, factor in these kind of features and functions, the better the conversion will be, the better the overall experience will be. And really, the third trend is kind of a broad net of just online procurement. And when I say that, I mean, companies that already have maybe a paper catalog, they're using a Rolodex of a phone bank, maybe an order entry system, behind the scenes. All of these type of traditional means are definitely moving to the background, and e-commerce is able to step up and really replace many of these almost entirely with a lot of cost savings, but also improve the overall customer experience as well. So we're not just talking about putting in a system here for the sake of putting in a system to just make things more digital. This is really improving the overall user experience. Third common question that I get is, I need to connect M3, right? I have all of this data in M3 and I need to connect it to my e-commerce system. But it seems overwhelming. There is so much data here. Where do I start? How do I get this data from point A to point B? And and again, great question. And I get that all the time. And from a LeanSwift perspective, we heard that again and again as well. And so we decided, well, I think we need to standardize this. We need to come up with an API, a connection, a data pipe, if you will, between M3 and eCommerce that we can use again and again for customers, not only to reduce costs, but then also to reduce time in development as well. And so that's what we did, and we were able to build a very nice system between Magento and M3, and I'll talk to you a little bit about the integration and the features of that. So there's an easy installation, absolutely easy. It just takes a few days to get things installed, connected, and wired up. Definitely no need for any more third-party products. The eConnect API, the eConnect module in Magento is all you need. Definitely easily extends M3 to the Magento storefront immediately. As soon as connected, data is flowing over, and then you can kind of massage that and change that if you'd like. Data is synchronized between the two systems, either manually or dynamically. You can set scheduled jobs if you like. So if inventory is only updated once a day, then just update it once a day. Or if you need more of a live type of environment where data is flowing back and forth constantly, we can do that too. So it's really just up to you how you want to set that up. And then also the beauty of this is really from the maintenance standpoint. So once you have this eConnect system put in place, this definitely guarantees future compatibility. And if you know anything about systems over the years, you know that systems constantly change, and there's always upgrades, always changes that you have to consider. So that maintenance part of things guarantees that future-proof concept out of the box. And actually, there's a lot more features to this. These are just some of the ones I wanted to highlight for you today. Price, inventory, customer registration, address sync, order creation, order information sync, shipment, invoices, order history, and invoice history as well. And again, all these are out of the box. And just sort of anecdotally, I had to build this system for myself about, I guess it was about 13 years ago. And I spent about $100,000 building it. It took about 5 months to do so. So if I had had this if I'd had this API system in place, I would have I think been jumping for joy. But but it is what it is. But today it exists for you. So that's an excellent opportunity. Here's just a little bit more data and a little bit more of an illustration of how it works. Really, just eConnect sits between Magento and M3. And again, all of these API data pipes are already wired up and ready to go. Just want to talk quickly about Magento and kind of what's in the box. And again, I get this question all the time. And again, I've pulled out just a few things that I wanted to highlight for you. I think there was like a 15-page document with 8-point type. It was very small type to cram it all in. But there are tons and tons of features in Magento. But I think I've narrowed it down to just about 6 different types of things that I wanted to feature. I'm not going to read all of these, but I definitely wanted to highlight a few things. We've marketing, promotions, and conversion tools. Absolutely, upsells, cross-sells, promotional pricing, coupons, unique coupons. All these features are out of the box. In terms of search engine optimization, really, Magento is built inherently to be search engine friendly. And if you are migrating your site from one site to Magento, helps you do the URL rewrite as well, so the search engines don't lose your product data. The auto generation for sitemaps, auto generation for popular search terms, it does all of these things for you. So just a tremendous opportunity, tremendous features here. In terms of additional features, site management, catalog management, the site management piece is very, very easy to use. It has a very deep admin system that allows you to do everything from scheduling when your inventory flows back and forth between Magento and M3 to CMS if you're wanting to edit some of the content on the homepage and everything in between. So very full, very feature-rich site management, and that goes right along with catalog management as well. Very, very rich a feature set here and being able to manipulate your catalog. So, if you have your data in M3, but you don't have a lot of maybe attributes set up, or maybe the product descriptions are just okay because you're limited by field size. And there's a lot of reasons why what you would have in M3 isn't quite up to par with what you would like to sell online. And so here, you can do all of those things. And a lot of our customers actually use Magento as like a small PIM system, a product information management system, where you can keep all of your more marketing oriented data right there in Magento. Has a lot of feature rich opportunities in terms of catalog browsing, faceted navigation, special landing pages, product comparisons, on down the list of all sort of the best of breed catalog browsing features that you'd be looking for. Same is true for checkout, payment, shipping, everything from multiple addresses on an order to SSL security, gift messages if you ever really wanted to do that. I know that doesn't have a big application for B2B, but for B2C it certainly does. So just moving on to more common questions. So, when considering my B2B e-commerce platform, what user experiences should I focus on? It's a huge question. And really over my career, what I've done is I've just continued to hone the answer to that question. And I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 areas. And again, just for sake of time, just kind of cover these lightly, but I think, Caroline, maybe we could even do an entire webinar just on the UX focus. So maybe we can make a note of that. Really the 3 areas here is marketing, sales, and customer satisfaction. And you think, well, yeah, that sounds about right, that we should be doing that. But what I've seen over my career, though, is that these make sense, not everybody's doing them. And though they may be even aware that, improve lead conversion rate. Yeah, we absolutely should be doing that. But if you're not focused on that, if you don't have metrics behind that, then a lot of times it just kind of slips through the cracks. So, really from a marketing standpoint, you're looking for leads, creating awareness, making sure that your email signups are continuing to trend properly. If you do PPC, pay per click, making sure that you're trending those as well. Marketing, returning customers, and really from a sales perspective, that's where the heart of it is. And the marketing, the sales, and the customer satisfaction all work together, but really the sales is definitely the heart of it. So you really need to be watching your sales conversion rates, the number of carts created, and increasing your overall order value. Is it flat? Is it down? Is it up? How is that trending, and how can I possibly use some of those marketing features that we just saw a minute ago to improve that? Search success is actually incredibly important, and it kind of ranges. Search utilization ranges from anywhere from 60 to 80%, and over using the category menu navigation. Customers love using the search feature, and really, again, in a Amazon type world, customers are again and again using the search feature rather than using the browse feature. So your search success becomes critically important. If 70% of your customers are using the search feature to actually find a product, then making sure that you are aware of how many search results are either 0 or they don't result in a conversion, and trying to improve them. And then overall customer satisfaction, absolutely. And you can really use the metrics from marketing and sales to come up with, are my customers satisfied? Are they getting what what they're looking for? And then, reducing time to complete a task as well. Can I shorten the amount of time that a customer needs to be on the site in order to do what it is that they want to do, the goals that I have set out for them? All right. Well, I think those are the main areas that I wanted to talk about today, just in terms of e-commerce. But I do want to stress, though, that from a B2B standpoint, e-commerce has moved on from nice to have to definitely needed. And as we move into these next 5 years, I think we all want to be a part of that $1.2 trillion growth and surpassing B2C. And we're definitely here to help you with that.
Awesome.
All right.
Yes.
We have any questions while I was speaking?
Yes. I actually do have a few questions. So somebody says, I'm not so familiar with e-commerce, but I know there are several platforms out there. Why Magento?
Absolutely. And I think over my career, I've engaged with WebSphere, Hybris, Demandware, WebSphere Commerce from IBM, and Magento, as well as a number of the smaller ZenCart, OpenCart. And I think one of the reasons why I keep coming back to Magento is that Magento, one, has poured a lot of development time into their product and making sure that it is best in class. They have spent the time to really understand the needs from the customers. They've taken a lot of feedback and poured that back into their technology. And really what I'm seeing today, and maybe this wasn't even true 5 years ago, but what I'm seeing today in terms of the platforms is that everyone is working really, really hard to ensure that their platform is as good as the next, guys. And the competition between the platforms has really heated up. So, there's the Magento open source version, the community edition, which is actually free. So it's hard to argue with free. But then also the community edition is a fantastic platform. So all of the base features that you're looking for in terms of an enterprise platform is there in the community edition as well. So many times the community edition for Magento has everything our customers are looking for. And again, it's free. So, it's sort of a no-brainer.
Okay. And then I have another question. So does LeanSwift do just integrations, or do you do like the full suite with front and back end?
That's a fantastic question. So the answer is, I think we do everything. It's not just kind of like a piecemeal thing where we would take just the integration or maybe just the back end part of things, but we are an end-to-end service provider. So yeah, I mean, definitely starting with integration, but then also moving on to the actual development, whether it be e-commerce or internet application. We can take that all the way to the browser and then back again to your back-end system. So absolutely full service provider in that area.
Okay. And then somebody's asking, how do I connect my e-commerce site to Magento?
Sure. Well, and there are a lot of ways actually that you can go about it. Magento has a lot of API features, very feature rich in that area. If you are on M3, then it's sort of a no-brainer, I think, to go with LeanSwift because we have the out-of-the-box capability of connecting. And again, I built an integration over to Magento, from the ground up. And while it can be done, it takes a lot of time and a lot of development and a lot of pain. So if there is a product, then I would definitely recommend going that route.
Then we have a last question here from somebody. What if I want to take my solution globally? What would be my first step?
Sure, absolutely. And just to kind of give a little bit of background from my perspective, I've done this process of taking a company from possibly just from a single country or a couple of countries and going global. So really just ensuring that you have the infrastructure in all the areas that you want to move to from an ERP standpoint, or at least warehousing, where you have shipping available in those areas. And then from an e-commerce standpoint, it's actually pretty straightforward. So you identify whether you want to use the feature from Magento where you can extend your single catalog to multiple sites, and then those sites can either be area specific, where maybe you want to do all of Northern America, or you could do country specific sites. Either way, I've done them both ways, and both ways can be very successful. So really looking at your back-end infrastructure, making sure that that's there, understanding your shipping options and how you would want to connect your products to your customers and getting it to the doorstep. And then from an e-commerce standpoint, making sure that you have the sites available to represent those different areas is the way to go. So it's absolutely doable, and it's actually a bit more straightforward than it may even sound because of the benefits that e-commerce brings to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jeremy. This was an awesome presentation. And we know you have a long history and experience with this. And if somebody has additional questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our email is info@leanswift.com. We will also have this recording of the webinar available to you all. So thank you, everybody, for joining in, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.